She said okay.
Does that answer your question?
Yes, it does.
Saving the greatest country in the world is not a short-term proposition, folks. We can save this great nation, but it's going to take all of us. Why? Because we are America.
Herman Cain. Solutions for a better America.
Anytime.
This is your host, Herman Cain. Thank you for joining us. Because we're going to tell you the truth. Give you the facts. Because we want you to be better informed and inspired to help make this a better United States of America. The operative word here is better and united. Although some people don't seem to be catching on to that theme. News Nugget. Although I didn't watch much of the news and the talking news programs over the weekend, all I heard about this morning when I re-engaged with the news was phone tapping. Yeah. It turns out that President Trump claimed in a series of tweets on Saturday that his predecessor had tried to undermine him by tapping the telephones at Trump Tower. And it's caused quite a stir in Washington. Sarah Huckabee, White House Principal Deputy Press Secretary, was asked about any proof of President Trump's accusation.
He is going off of information that he's seen that has led him to believe that this is a very real potential. And if it is, this is the greatest overreach and the greatest abuse of power that I think we've ever seen, and a huge attack on democracy itself. And the American people have a right to know if this took place.
And Senator Tom Cotton, Republican from Arkansas, says a Senate inquiry into Russia's meddling in the presidential election will also look at President Trump's allegation.
We've already begun an inquiry on the Intelligence Committee into Russia's efforts to undermine confidence in our political system last year and our interest all around the world. That inquiry is going to be thorough, and we're going to follow the facts wherever they lead us, and I'm sure that this matter will be a part of that inquiry.
That's really the bottom line, folks. Here's the deal. You have an accusation out there. You have anonymous sources on one side, and maybe President Trump knows something that we don't know. And you got anonymous sources on the other side. The Democrats are setting their hair on fire, trying to say that it is an absurd accusation. And what Senator Tom Cotton is saying, we will investigate, and we will let the facts do the talking, and we will follow the facts wherever they lead us. That's how it ought to be done. So, folks, don't get all caught up in all of the liberal media hype about this. Let the investigation proceed. That's my take. News Nugget. Comey challenges DOJ. Despite President Trump's request, FBI Director James B. Comey asked the Justice Department this weekend to publicly reject Trump's assertion that Obama ordered the tapping of Trump's phones. Here's why Comey is pushing back on that. If he comes out and says there was no such thing, it's going to appear as if he's being defensive. The other entity that knows the facts is the Department of Justice. That's why he's challenging them. Set the record straight. Because we know that there are a lot of leaks up there. And he's saying if it comes from the DOJ, former Director of National Intelligence James Clapper got sucked into this frenzy. And he said on Sunday that President Trump's claim that the Obama administration wiretapped his campaign's phone conversations were false. He says there was no secret court order for surveillance at Trump Tower.
For the part of the national security apparatus that I oversaw as DNI, there was no such wiretap activity mounted against the president-elect at the time, or as a candidate, or against his campaign.
This is the same director of national intelligence who said that there was no data being collected on Americans. We later found out that there was. I'm just saying. News nugget. Marches for Trump. Good. Supporters of President Trump gathered at locations across the U.S. on Saturday in a bid to challenge what rally organizers called the country's seditious fringe in a series of demonstrations dubbed the March for Trump, or the Spirit of America rallies. Organizers pledged to provide forgotten voices a mechanism so they can be heard. Yes, Trump later tweeted out, maybe the millions of people who voted to make America great again should have their own rally. That's not a big idea. Because you see, folks, there is a war going on. It's the voices of the liberal, media, progressive left and the voices of conservatives who want to get on with making this a better nation. So the idea that they're going to try to intimidate and drown us out ain't going to work. This, folks. Vice President Pence lashed out at the Associated Press on Saturday for listing his wife's email address in a story about his frequent resistance to public records requests while Indiana's governor. See, this is what the Associated Press does. Later in a statement, they come back and say, the Associated Press has removed the email address from subsequent stories. After learning Mrs. Pence still used the account, the AP stands by its story, which addresses important transparency issues. They knew what they were doing when they put it out there. Now they're going to claim, oh, it was a mistake, and we take it back. This is part of the war, folks, going on between the truth and some of this intended misleading news. News Nugget. Did I say news nugget? I meant news nugget.
Yes, you did.
News nugget. House Republicans huddled this weekend to finish their Obamacare replacement plan, while also trying to staunch criticism about a secretive and stalled process by revealing some specifics and vowing the bill will soon be available for review. House Speaker Paul Ryan has dismissed such allegations by Senator Rand Paul and others and congressional Democrats, vowing last week that the bill will go through an open committee process and sarcastically saying, quote, "Give me a break." Look, you know how the media and the Democrats will nitpick a piece out of something and try to turn it into a media frenzy before it's even released. I quite frankly don't have a problem with the way House Speaker Paul Ryan and the Republicans are approaching this. Now, here's my advice to all of the naysayers and all of the want-to-be supporters. Read the whole plan. Consider the whole package before your head explodes over one piece in there that you may not like. Okay? The good news is they're going to be rolling out something this week. Even though Chuck Schumer and the Democrats kept saying they don't have anything. They don't know what they want to do. They don't have a plan. Yes, they do, Chucky. Stay tuned. Coming soon to the Herman Cain Show. News Nugget. When the Democrats don't have anything to say, they hit below the belt. Representative Cedric Richmond, Democrat from Louisiana, made a crude joke about Kellyanne Conway's couch photo in President Trump's office.
And you can just explain to me that circumstance, because she really looked kind of familiar in that position there.
That's below the belt. But of course, Mrs. Pelosi, Minority Leader, deflected questions posed by CNN's Jake Tapper about the tasteless comments taking aim at President Trump.
But I do every day marvel at the fact that somebody who said the gross and crude things that President Trump said He wouldn't even be allowed in a frat house, and he's in the White House.
How do you know what would be said in a frat house, Ms. Pelosi? Have you been in one? I'm just saying. And Nancy, tell us again the name you gave to Donald Trump.
The deflector in chief. Anything to change the subject from where the heat is.
Let's see. She's not deflector in chief, but she's minority deflector. When President Trump gave this very clear, direct, strategic, and inspiring speech last Tuesday, what did the liberals, the Democrats, immediately do? They immediately tried to deflect, or as I call it, shift the subject, back to this Russian thing. And there is no new news there. There is no new evidence there. But the liberal media and the Democrats are in a tizzy trying to push the Russian thing. So President Trump doubled down. Well, if you want to talk about Russia, let's talk about wiretapping as part of this investigation, which is what Senator Tom Cotton said he's going to do. Good for him. No, he's not the deflector in chief. He wants to focus on repealing and replacing Obamacare, reissuing the executive order on illegals coming into this country. That's coming out this week. And moving forward with his agenda for America's prosperity. That's what he's doing, Nancy. Maybe you didn't get the memo. Or maybe you didn't want to get the memo. News nugget. Gun sales plummet. Guess what, folks? We finally figured out what causes gun purchases to drop. It's called elect a Republican president. Listen to this. In January 2009, the first year of the 44th president, there were just over 14 million background checks run through the FBI system. At the end of 2016, the last year of the 44th president, background checks were over 27 million. In other words, the curve went up, 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 and away over the 8 years of the Obama administration. January 2016 to January 2017, month-to-month comparison. Gun sales went down by 500,000. You know what my take on this is? Scare tactics and blaming the guns cause people to buy more guns, not less. And it does help for the president to say he's going to protect the Second Amendment, just like Herman Cain and his team are going to protect the truth. You're listening to the Herman Cain Show.
Delivering trusted solutions for a better America.
He's telling America what we need to hear and helping activate everyone in the right direction.
Herman Cain.
Morning.
Herman Cain Show, please hold.
Frank, you got a minute? Yeah, Bill. I'm concerned about what's been happening at the plant since those union organizers showed up. They're constantly on
Thank you.
and they've been bugging me at home to support the union.